Hey Computer Studies 10, we're going to add in colors and fonts and lovely pretty things into our website now. It's about time because it looks pretty ugly. Let's get this set up. I'm going to do the little split screen. And man, oh man, we got some ugly stuff going on. I mean, Times New Roman is not a terrible font, but it's just, we don't have some, variety. It's all black and white. The picture looks good, but let's add in some style. So the way we're going to do this is with something called CSS. It stands for Cascading Style Sheets, which is a good bit of a bunch of words to unpack. But the main part of that is style. We'll find out why they're cascading and why they're sheets later on. But style, the middle S there, this cascading style sheets, that's the main thing we want to focus on. So it's a new language. It's not HTML. It's different than HTML. And it will specify the style, basically what styles we want for various tags. We can set the style for an H1 separately from a paragraph. We can set styles for every single tag, even body tag and image tag. All those things can be given styles. It has a special way of describing this, so we'll have to take a look at an example, and then we'll go from there. So the way that I'm going to do it for this video is I'm going to put the style sheet inside of our HTML file. It is, I think, the most convenient way right now as we're learning. And later on, we'll see how to separate them into two separate files. Because as they get longer, it'll get more annoying to have them in one file. But today is just going to be embedded into our HTML file. So you just have to have your HTML file open in Sublime Text, and of course also open in your browser so you can see the changes. So here we go. We're going to get started. So you have a valid HTML document with your head and body separate. So the style is going to go inside of the head. It kind of makes sense, right? It's what the web browser has to think about. So we're giving it new things to think about. And it will appear in the body, but this is sort of like, programming the browser to use different colors and fonts and so on. So here's what we do. We're going to add in the style tag. So style/style. So everything in between here is going to be CSS. And CSS has a new way of doing things, so we'll have to learn how that works. And these are the rules that our web page will follow when it draws out our web page. So we can assign rules to different tags. So here's how you do it. The basic formula is you're going to have the name of a tag, and then you're going to have curly braces. The curly brackets, whatever you want to call them, they're not the square ones, it's the curly ones. So the curly ones, you have to hold down Shift and press those. And then everything in between here, between these two curly brackets, is going to be the rules. So you can select a property. And so you type in a property here, and then you give it a value. And the property has a semicolon after it, and the value has a semicolon. So, property has a colon after it, and then value has a semicolon. So this is the general pattern you will follow. And you can put different properties. Like this could be property 1, property 2. Like you put a whole bunch of properties inside of here. If you want it to apply to more than one tag, like if you want, you can put a comma here and say like tag 2, tag 3, and so on. You can list multiple ones. So that's our general formula. Let's take a look at an actual example that will change something. So let's say I want to change my title to be blue. So what I can say is H1. That's the tag that contains my title, right? I'll put in the curly brackets, and then I can give it a color. So there's a whole bunch of different properties that you'll have to learn. They're basically like the rules or the aspects of your text or your image or whatever. So one of them is color. And you'll notice that as you type, you do see them come up, and there's a lot, right? There's potentially hundreds. This is just the letter C. So there's all sorts of properties you can learn, but you can learn a good maybe dozen to 2 dozen properties will probably be what you mostly need for the whole course. But we can learn more as we go. So color is spelled the American way. So we type in color, and then we put colon, and then we type in blue, and then it already typed the semicolon for us. Cool, I appreciate that. So now all H1 tags will be rendered in the color blue. So if I save this and I go over to my document and refresh, hey, it turned blue. Nice. So that's how we can affect things. There's other things we can do as well. I can say, font dash family. So that is what kind of font am I using? And there's some various ones available for us to use that are sort of built into just about every computer. Your Arials and your Times New Romans and your Couriers and your Comic Sans. That might not be available on a Mac, actually. But these are the kind of ones that are sort of built in. Later on in a separate video, we'll learn about how we can import other fonts from like custom fonts and stuff like that. So I'll just put in Arial right now just to demonstrate. That's what they call a sans serif font. So it's like none of those little fancy things on the ends of the tips of the letters. So I'll save that and we'll refresh and we'll see, hey, look at that. It's now in Arial. Hey, what if I also wanted my paragraph to be in Arial and be blue? If I wanted these exact same rules for my paragraph, I could say H1, comma, P. So basically I'm saying, hey, all the rules that I'm typing in these braces will apply to H1 tags and to P tags as well. So I can refresh and you can see, hey, now they're Arial. Hey, what if I wanted my paragraphs to not be blue though? So I could either separate them into two rules, like maybe I can have, I can do it like this, whoops. So I can say, oh, H1s and Ps will have font Arial, but H1 will be color blue. So I can kind of separate them. So the common ones can go together, and the different ones can go in separate places. If I wanted everything to be Arial though, like every single thing, H3s, LIs, links, everything, then what you can do is you can stick that in the body. The body surrounds everything in your website. So I could say body, font family Arial. If I save that and refresh, you'll see now everything in my website is font Arial. So that's kind of a handy thing. But I can separate the style of my H1s. So this affects H1s as well because H1s are inside of the body, but this will only affect H1s. So there you go. What are some other properties we can do? So another one we can do is font size. So I can do paragraph. Maybe I'll make my paragraphs a little bit bigger. So I'd like to say font size, and then I can type in a number here. I'm not sure what the default is, but I'm going to put in maybe 14. I'll put in PT. It's kind of like in Word when you're setting the things. Oops, yep. Thanks, Sublime Text. I'm not going to buy you right now. Let's refresh, and we can see that, oh, the words are bigger now. Awesome. You can also make your H1s bigger as well, separately. So I can say font size, and you can just click on these if you want to as you go. Maybe I'll make this like 40 point and save and refresh. Ooh, getting nice and bold. For paragraphs, I also like to adjust the what's called line height. So I can say line height, and then you can give it a number. Like if I say 1M, M is sort of like whatever this number is. So if that's 14 point, then this will be like 14 basically. But if I want to double space it, I could say 2M, and then it'll be double space. So now my paragraphs have more spacing in them. And you can put even like 1.5 in here or 1.25 or something, and you can get like just a little bit more spacing that's going on there. Yeah, there's all sorts of different properties we can learn. I'm going to go and add in a few more properties. I think a fun one to do is the background color. So for body, if you put in, instead of color, that changes the font color, whatever is sort of the thing that's in front. If we put background color, then we can affect the background color of it. So let's say we wanted, I don't know, yellow? Ooh, yellow. We'll refresh and see, oh, it's pretty ugly. But we did it, right? We did make that change. So that's nice. So this is a good sort of starting pack of different kind of things. So please feel free to go style your page. Try to add styles to all the different parts of your web page. So add in Maybe make your subheadings look different, make your list items look different, add some sort of settings to those. One fun thing is to put background color into text. I don't know if this is fun or not. This might be a terrible idea. You could put it in like if we made it white, for example. We can refresh and we can see, you get a background that goes just in behind the text, which is kind of fun there too. So just kind of play around with it a bit, see how that turns out for you. Mostly we just want to practice. In the next few videos, we'll look at individual topics with CSS. So we'll take a look at like styling links specifically, styling text, styling backgrounds, adding in like background images and that kind of things. And then eventually we'll also put this all in some kind of container called a div, and we'll learn how to style those as well. Okay, so practice a bit with CSS. If it's working for you, then you're doing great, and just see what you can create with the limited knowledge that we have at the moment. Okay, thanks so much, everybody.